And I'm tired of listening to these people say how safe it was before we got here. It was unsafe. It was horrible. And Mayor Bowser better get her act straight or she won't be mayor very long, because we'll take it over with the federal government running like it's supposed to be run. The numbers were horrible. It was a crime-infested rat hole. And they do have a lot of rats. We're getting rid of them, too. And we've made a lot of progress. And it was extremely unsafe, and now it's extremely safe. We had virtually no crime. The number was down 87%, and I'm trying to figure out where was the 13%, because I don't think it existed.
We have to talk about the anti-Trump DC mayor, Muriel Bowser. And at first, she had a huge problem with federal intervention, and she tried to claim that crime in DC was improving. But the reality is that crime was at an all-time high even before the pandemic. And she pushed the mainstream media narrative that DC didn't need help, that everything was under control. But the people of DC know the truth. And now she's surrendering. And she's finally admitting that Trump's intervention has helped. Citizens aren't dying like they were, and carjackings are way down. And you got to see what she says on camera, because it's a wild shift. But this is exactly what Trump does. He forces them to admit that his policies work. Check it out.
Greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but I'm going to get my glasses so I can make sure I can see it correctly. But for carjackings, the difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. We know that when carjackings go down, when the use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer. So this surge has been important to us for that reason.
All right. So fewer gun crimes, fewer homicides, and extreme reduction in carjackings. Those are her words, and she's not talking about a small dip, because during the 20-day period of the federal surge, carjackings plummeted by 87% compared to the same time last year. And this was from a press conference where she had to face the facts. And this is the same mayor who initially called the plan unsettling and unprecedented. And now, check out what she says next, family.
We greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but I'm going to get my glasses so I can make sure I can see it correctly. But for carjackings,
all right. So I just wanted you guys to hear. She said, we greatly appreciated the surge of officers. The hypocrisy is stunning. And she's acknowledging that the city might need even more federal support. So now, before I show you the next clip, let me ask you a question. Is the National Guard being used against Americans or to help them? Because that's what CNN anchor Abby Phillips is trying to twist. She and others in the media claim the National Guard is being deployed against the American people. But if you actually look at the numbers, carjackings are down 87% and homicides and gun crimes are way down. So that's almost 100% improvement. And it's dramatic, because this is the result of deploying the National Guard to help clean up and secure the city. Yet CNN still pushes the idea that this is some sort of war on citizens. But even the DC mayor, who has never been a fan of Trump or his policies, is now publicly admitting that it's working. Less carjackings, fewer guns on the streets, fewer homicides, and fewer Black Americans dying, period. And that's something worth talking about. But check out this insane clip, man.
And it's also because the military serves a role to protect Americans, not to be used against Americans.
Exactly. You keep saying used against Americans. What kind of Americans do you mean? The ones that are murdering us, carjacking us, raping us, terrorizing our cities? I mean, you're saying like he's creating an actual war against American citizens when what he's actually creating is a war against criminals and, by the way, illegal aliens who they are rounding up by the bucket load in Washington.
I want to let Ellie...
Of course politics is going on here. I mean, you said that they should be asking for federal resources, but that would be an admission that they have lost control of their cities.
That's
so
not losing
Brandon
control.
Johnson,
I mean,
Chris
no.
Griffin, that would be an admission they've lost control.
The way
the mayor
that
of D.C. asked for federal resources too. She was trying
The way that-
but
but
Brandon
let me-
Johnson, the
but
mayor of
let me-
Chicago, said, I don't want more police. And he even said
let
today,
me-
we don't even want to put
But this
people
is
in
what I'm
prison.
telling you.
I mean,
I'm
think
telling
about-
you that Democrats should think about potentially asking for more resources. What I'll say here
I
is
agree
that...
with you, but they won't.
But it's also not handing over the entire city to the federal government. What happens is that the mayor and the local law enforcement should be in charge, and they should have the federal law enforcement supplement and provide training as needed. It shouldn't be that the National Guard and federal law enforcement should take over a city that they do not understand, that they do not know, that the community doesn't understand. That just
And
leads
look,
to
I mean,
chaos.
when you heard...
And still, liberals, many of whom don't even live in these communities, argue that federal intervention is wrong. And these people claim to speak for the inner city, but they don't live this life. And they don't know what it's like to be unable to walk outside at night or worry about which streets you can't safely walk down. And as someone, growing up, I know the reality of it, living in the hood. And, anyone who's lived in inner cities knows about gang culture and about soft on crime policies and about constant fear. And yet there's a massive disconnect between what's actually happening in these communities and what the media, especially white, progressive, and liberal voices try to portray. And they're the loudest ones claiming they're helping minorities, but they're also the ones setting the cities on fire in the name of justice while the people living there are screaming for safety, right? So it's mind-blowing to me when you look at those things. And yes, we need after-school programs. Yes, we need more fathers in the home. We need deep cultural change. Well, right now, the number one goal is to stop people from dying. That's it. And the question I keep asking is, what are you willing to sacrifice to stop people from dying? What are you willing to give to clean up your city? It may not look pretty to activists, but some may claim it violates human rights. But what's the alternative? Is the price for safety a federal crackdown, tougher policing, maybe even arresting suspected gang members before crimes happen? Because is that a line America is willing to cross if it means peace in our cities? So before I wrap this up, I want to play a powerful video from Iris Teo, a White House correspondent. She shared an emotional story about how she was robbed and pistol whipped in broad daylight on her way to work, and her experience is the reason she supports Trump's crackdown in DC, and she was lucky to survive, and now she's standing with him and thanking him. I want you guys to check this out.
My name is Iris Tao. I'm a White House correspondent for MTV, the sister media of the Epoch Times. So more than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, in the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me, before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night, ever, and my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now.
Thank you, Iris, for being honest.
Such incidents involved not just me, but also my family. If he had shot me, I could have died right there in the middle of nowhere without my families or my friends knowing at the age of back then, I think 23.
Right.
Just starting my career here in DC without even starting a family. Right now, I'm very blessed to have this opportunity.
So you had a gun pointed at your head, and you probably figured that he's going to pull the trigger because these are animals that don't know what the hell they couldn't care less. The pulling the trigger to him is a very minor event, and I'm sure he's done it before. So how did you? And you did refuse to give it, which would probably, maybe somebody would say that was not the right decision, right? But you refused. But I understand that. So and then he hit you real hard.
Yes.
It's really amazing that you weren't shot, though.
I'm very blessed, and that's why having this opportunity to stand here to share my story today. One, I'm very grateful for God for allowing me to still survive to this day, but also to Mr. President. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
And there are other reporters and journalists, good people, and you don't have to say it, but that have also been attacked violently. And not violently, too, pretty badly. But, and I bet you see a big difference in the streets right now. And this is only 12 days, but people are telling me they're going out to dinner now.
This is the real world impact of policy. These aren't just stats. They are lives. And this is why people are demanding action, even when the media tries to spin it as something else. So what happens next? The truth is out. A famously anti-Trump mayor had to go on camera and admit that President Trump's federal intervention was a massive success. But don't get it twisted. The mainstream media will do everything they can to bury this story. They will ignore it. They will spin it. They'll focus on Bowser's complaints about break-in trust instead of the 87% drop in carjackings. They cannot, I repeat, they cannot let a win for Trump and for common sense become the main story. And that's where you come in. You are the new media. You are the ones who get the truth out there, and they can't hide what their own side has been forced to admit. And if you believe in law and order, and if you're sick and tired of watching our cities get destroyed by progressive policies, then smash the like button right now. And let me know in the comments below what you think of Muriel Bowser's shocking admissions or admission. And do you think the liberal mayors are going to be forced to face the facts soon? And most importantly, share this video. We need to make this video go viral so that every single American can see what really happened. And don't let them hide the truth. Don't let them bury this win. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.